pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli, who became well known a few weeks ago when he raised the price of the drug Daraprim by somewhere between 4,000 and 5,500%, says he tried to donate to presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Why would he do that when they're on opposite sides of the issue of drug pricing? Well, Bernie Sanders was bashing Big Pharma on the campaign trail. Martin Shkreli decided to donate $2,700 to Bernie Sanders to try to get a meeting with Sanders so the two could talk about pharmaceutical pricing. However, the Bernie Sanders campaign is not doing it. Campaign spokesman Michael Briggs said, not only is Bernie Sanders not going to meet with Martin Shkreli, we're not keeping the money. We've redonated the money to Whitman Walker, which is a health clinic in Washington. We are not keeping the money from this poster boy for drug company greed. And the interesting thing is, Shkreli said he donated with the hopes of getting Bernie Sanders' attention and getting a meeting with him. And now he's, quote, furious that Bernie Sanders is using him as a punching bag. And then, Lewis, he went on a weird Twitter tirade, Martin Shkreli did, where he posted first, so angry at Bernie Sanders, I could punch a wall. And then shortly thereafter posted, does anyone know how to treat a wrist fracture without going to a hospital? And then a few hours after that, Lewis posted a picture of an x-ray that appears to show a fractured wrist. What a drama queen, Lewis, that he didn't get what he wanted, apparently, from Bernie Sanders. And he claims to have punched a wall and broken his wrist over the anger. But maybe the entire thing is a joke. I don't know.
Maybe, but he's if it's real and he's trying to, through his interviews, make us seem like he's a reasonable, level-headed guy.
Right.
This doesn't help. I applaud Bernie for this, and I kind of wish they did have that meeting. And I wish it were televised because I really would have loved to hear that.
He also said, Shkreli did, that he could see himself supporting Jeb Bush, who he says seems reasonable. He's not impressed by, quote, spoiled brat Donald Trump. He doesn't like Hillary Clinton. The Martin Shkreli story has been so enlightening for so many reasons now. We first talked about how the Martin Shkreli story exposed the systemic problems with a healthcare for-profit system. That was useful in terms of what we learned from Martin Shkreli. He's now exposing the problem of campaign finance. He donated the maximum allowed, hoping to get a private meeting with Bernie Sanders. That's the problem with political donations, that they are made in order to access the politicians and try to gain influence. So without even realizing, maybe, Lewis, the fact that he said, I donated to try to get a meeting with Bernie Sanders, that's the problem with our campaign finance system.
Yeah, of course. Now, there are any number of changes we need to make to our system. It's not just the finances. That's a part of it, of course. But yes, he has been a wonderful instrument in bringing all of these things to light. But, Dave, has he lowered the price of that drug yet?
I haven't heard that he has, no. And he also made an interesting comment about something else that's important, which is Shkreli said, I would ask Bernie Sanders, what role does innovation play in healthcare? Is he willing to sort of accept that there is a trade-off, that to take risks for innovation, companies have to invest lots of money and they need a return? This is the idea that innovation happens in a total vacuum from the commons and the government and public society. Innovation at private companies happens on the shoulders of employees who likely at some point went to public schools, built on research done at public institutions funded by the government, in labs that use utilities like water, which is kept clean by the FDA and administered by local municipalities, in a country where our system of laws put in place and enforced by the judicial system and police departments makes it so people can sit in labs and do pharmaceutical research. That's the reality.
Innovation is still happening in countries that have universal health care,
right,
and single payer systems. I guess we could get into discussions. Well, they're still, striking up deals with other countries when it comes to medication and innovations and patents and this and that. But, innovation still happens there. So I think it can happen here under the same conditions.